What's up, guys? Got Bryan Zionskowski. I think I pronounced that right on this episode, and this was a great one. I really enjoyed this a lot. He gets into some book recommendations, some podcast recommendations, but he talks about how to talk to agents at open houses, like a skill that I think every inspector needs to sharpen or revisit and refocus on, especially coming into the environment we're coming into. I recorded this one back in July, so again, I'm still getting caught up on episodes. So there could be some references to the summer and maybe even the first half of the year, which is a very different environment than we're in now, obviously. But he also talks about being vulnerable and how to think about kind of success and your habits. Talks about using Instagram, which is kind of a common trend. A lot of inspectors are getting on there and getting active, which I love seeing because it's a great way to connect with agents. He talks a little bit about his strategy there. He also talks about new construction inspections, 11-month warranty inspections, some branding 101 that every inspector I think could learn a ton from. So there's a lot in this episode, basically. But shout out to everybody that listens to all of these. I've been talking to a lot of you lately because we just got done going to the InterNACHI conference, the IEB conference. So thank you for letting me know you guys listen and that these are helpful. Hope they continue to be helpful. And guys, posting this now, it's November. This is the season to focus on your marketing, to focus on your outreach to agents. So whatever it is, reach out to us to see if there's a way we can help, whether it's the websites, whether it's Spectora Advanced. We'd love to hear from you guys because now is the time to kind of sharpen the tools and to kind of sustain during this down period. So we've put out more content around that. But again, thank you to everybody. And I appreciate you guys listening and hope you enjoy the episode. How's life, man? How's business been going? How's the holiday weekend? I guess more importantly.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. We've had some company out here over the 4th of July. So we actually went whale watching.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I never been living in Washington. It's kind of like one of those things you don't do because you live here. So
where do you go for that? Because I was actually looking at a map and I was just getting refamiliarizing myself with like the Seattle, Tacoma area.
So it's in Seattle. You leave out of Edmonds. In Edmonds, they take you up by the San Juan Islands, and there you see like gray whales, killer whales. It was pretty cool. Yeah, we think we've seen like 9 killer whales and 1 gray whale. So it was neat.
Really? Was that your first time whale watching?
Yeah, that was my first time out there. So I mean, it was like a 4-hour boat ride. So I mean, I thought I was gonna get bored and all that, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. The people that run the boat are actually like researchers, so they're giving you like real, knowledge and stuff rather than some SeaWorld stuff.
Any crazy facts that you retained? Anything crazy that you didn't know that you want to educate us on?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So the oldest one of that pod was like a grandmother. She was like 53 years old. And I guess when they have babies, they never leave the mom. So they're there their whole life, and they just kind of create their pods like that and do it.
Wow.
It was pretty cool, man.
Man, we could take this a couple different directions, but like just the sheer like size of them too is always like did it make you feel either scared or small or insignificant, or like did you have any other weird thoughts like
gray whale? It actually came up right next to the boat and like blew his thing, and I was like, oh my god, it was just so big. Like, yeah, and like I said, it's like real life, so it's not like you're at the zoo or something. So it was neat.
Amazing. I thought it was always a thing in the winter months, but I guess not. This is the right time of year to do it up there, right?
I think you can go year round.
Year round?
And they guarantee you see whales too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, not many places where you get that. Where like we guarantee you're gonna see something cool.
Yep.
Very cool, man. Well, cool. Like people obviously know you're kind of in the Seattle area, but let's just give the quick rundown of kind of your background and how long you guys have been around and kind of how you got to this point.
Okay, yeah. So I'm originally from Kansas City. We actually have only lived out here 4 years. I was originally stationed out here in the Navy, and I got out in 2013, and we moved back home to Kansas City for 5 years, and it just wasn't the same after being in the military and everything, and then getting home, and everybody's kind of doing the same thing, and we're just like, oh man, like why did we leave? So basically, it took like 5 years to like save up and get back out here, and here we are now. So. And my company started it about 1 year and 4 months ago, so we're still pretty new. out here, just getting it, trying to figure things out.
But a great year and a half, right? I mean,
yeah, honestly, it's been a blast. Like it's been so much fun. I've learned so much, and just everything I didn't know, it's fun.
yeah, we'll get into some of the specifics, but yeah, you've had a great head start. You've had a great year and a half. What did you do in the Navy? And thank you for your service, by the way. I
Thank you.
mention this every time someone says they serve. Mike and I grew up Air Force kids. Great respect. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I was actually an ABH, but I actually didn't. So that's the aviation boatswain's mate handler.
Okay.
So basically, what they actually do is like launch the boat, the aircraft off the boat. But I never actually did that a day in the Navy. When I got there, they sent me to Pry Fly, which is they work right above the captain, so
Okay.
on the O10 level. And basically, what that is, it's like flight ops. We identify what aircrafts are coming in, log them. We have to know what's actually coming in, so they set the correct tension on the lines and stuff like that. So I did a lot of that. I worked on the flight deck a little bit, but for the most part, it was not a very hard job. Stressful sometimes, but yeah, it is what it is.
Where all were you stationed?
Just here in Bremerton.
Okay.
As far as like being able to explore Washington and everything, I just didn't ever get a chance to. We were always out to sea. I think we did 2 9-month deployments within like 4 months of each other. So it was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you go? Or I guess where did that take you?
Man,
Or was it just out at sea?
Yeah, we did 2 golf tours. So we did like
Okay.
Bahrain, Singapore, Dubai, Malaysia. I think that's it. Thailand. So we've seen all those places. That was a lot of fun. Quite an experience. I felt young. Now looking back now, I felt like a kid, in that time. So I wish I would have enjoyed it a little more now, being older. But
You didn't know what you didn't know, I guess, right? In terms of what travel
I
can do
was
for
just
you.
like, oh man, I got to do this. Oh man, instead of just kind of like taking it for what it was and enjoying it, I was always just like wanting to do something else.
Right. Instead of being like, wow, this different culture and people, let me learn a little bit about it.
Yeah. But I think that was, that was important. It helped me, grow as a person and that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah.
it was
So
good.
after the Navy, why home inspections? I'm always so fascinated of how people got exposed to it and like what piqued your interest.
So I think I always knew that I wanted to start my own business or something. I just didn't know what. I've had so many jobs, just different ones.
Name some of them. Yeah. What are some of those?
See, I've worked in retail, I've worked construction, commercial, I've worked in a psych ward.
Doing what?
I was a mental health tech, so I basically just looked over like adolescents and the seniors and stuff like that. People that just had like mental disorders and stuff like that. I thought I wanted to go in the medical field, to be honest, at the beginning, but just quickly found that I liked, building stuff and construction and all that kind of stuff. So still living in Kansas City, my wife, she came home one day and was like, you know what, let's move. I had just recently been laid off. So I was a stay-at-home dad with my newborn. So I was doing that. She's like, let's just go. Let's sell the house and go. And so 4 months later, we were on our way out here.
So you guys had you guys talked about that? It sounds like you had talked a little bit about like, what if we just went somewhere?
Talked about it, and finally we're in a spot where we could just sell the house and go. And we did. Of course, our family and everybody was like, no, don't do it. But we had an 8-month-old. So getting out here, I took the first job I could find, which was hardwood floors. And that was the only job I had out here. And shout out to Jason and Malia at Kitsap Wood Flooring. Honestly, I would not be here without that job.
So they gave you a job, you're installing?
Yeah, so installing, refinishing hardwood floors. It was pretty straightforward job. It was a lot of hard work, but a lot of downtime as far as like to yourself, because it's very loud. So I used to always have a podcast on, and I'd be listening to business podcasts, just everything. And we had this one day where we had a job that was like a week long, and the guy was in and out. And I was like, man, what does this guy do? Like, I like his schedule. Like, he's always home and then he leaves and he comes back clean. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is it? And so finally I asked him, he's like, oh, I'm a home inspector. And I was like, really? And I was like, well, do you like that? And he's like, oh, it's an adventure. I love it. Every day something new. I run my own schedule. this, that, and the other. And his name is actually Joe. I message him all the time. He's kind of like a mentor to me. He lives in, I think, Pittsburgh now, but yeah, he lived out here then. But yeah, long story short, after that, I kind of researched it, looked around at like different companies and seeing what they were doing, how they were doing it. I have been on the bad end of a home inspection before, so I kind of knew about it. I knew how, what it was. And so out here you have to be licensed.
Yep.
So I did my whole 120 class hours, 40 shadow hours. I took the test, which I took 3 times.
I've heard it's a doozy up there.
Golly, man, it was. I fished it by 4 questions the first time, 2 the second time, and I got it right on, like right what you need to get to pass the 3rd time. After that second time, though, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty discouraging. I was just like, why is this? It really wasn't hard. It just was weird how they position the questions. They give you 2 right answers, and I'm just not a test taker. Sitting for 2 hours, reading is just
yeah, I'm not sure where I stand on states that have tests that are hard to navigate, hard to pass. I'm not sure where I stand on if it's a good indication.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like it. I know it sucked going through it at first, but I think it weeds out a lot of people that don't belong.
True.
Because taking it 3 times, like I really wanted it. I did it. I could have very well just gave up and said, you know what, I'll do something else.
True.
It definitely weeds out the people that don't want it enough. And the people that are good at test taking, shoot, they'll pass it first try. So
right. No, that's a good point. It keeps it clean, keeps the industry clean.
Yeah, definitely. Because back home in Kansas City, you don't have to be licensed. You could just, I think it's a certification. Shoot, I don't really know.
Yeah, anybody. Same with Colorado. You could roll out of bed, become a home inspector.
Yeah, just print off a business card and
yeah. Okay, so you go through that grind, and you were still working, I take it, while you were studying.
So about that, man,
your dad.
they were awesome bosses. It was a small company, just a husband and wife. It was me and 2 other employees. And so he was very helpful, supportive the whole time. Anytime I needed time off to go do whatever I needed to do, he would let me do it. And then one day I was like, hey, I was gonna, maybe go part-time and just do this home inspection thing on the side, but I think I'm just gonna dive all in and quit. And I go, because like I just, being at that job just would like make me crazy, because I felt like I could be doing other things to get inspections. And I just was wasting so much time, putting in floors and killing my knees. Just the work was hard, but the job was great. But so I ended up just quitting. I think I gave him like a month notice. And he was perfectly okay with that. He was, super chill. And he actually kept me on temp. So in case it didn't work out for me, I could just come back and work. And actually I have came back a couple times just to help him out, because he's a guy behind. So I was like, yeah, I don't have any inspection, I come out and help you. So it's been a really great relationship with them. And honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. So it was, it's very nice of them to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So where were you at in the process of getting licensed or in the business when you did quit and said, all right?
So I was licensed, and I was just kind of figuring out everything. I had my uniform in line that I was going to wear. I had kind of like, my motto, what we were going to be about. I had my core values out. And this is like post-Unite too. So it's kind of cool. I guess we'll get into that a little bit later, but just knowing that I was on the right track being there, because I already had my core values and like what I was about and who we were going to target, which was like a lot, heavy military.
Yeah.
Because this is a military area, lots of people stationed here. When we get out of the military, we don't know anything. I bought a house, had a Federal Pacific panel, foundation problems. The main drain was clay. So we had all kinds of things to fix, and we had no idea because the home inspector didn't take the time to, tell us. He asked us to not even be there, which is insane. Yeah. So
where did your instincts come from to do all those things? Because that's not, I can't say that's typical for people to be thoughtful about their values, who they're targeting, their motto, their branding. Where does that come from in you to even have the instinct to do all that?
Books and podcasts.
Boom.
Yeah, I am a podcast junkie.
Give us a few. Give us your go-tos or your favorites.
I really like School of Greatness. Um,
I'm gonna write these down because I'm a podcast junkie.
yeah, School of Greatness with Lewis Howell. That's good. Your podcast, I listened to it since the beginning. I
Awesome.
loved it. Ed Milet, his podcast is good. The Real AF with Andy Frisella. So it's kind of different now. Back in the day, it was called MFCEO.
Okay.
And he's like the founder of I think First Form or whatever. But he puts out a lot of good stuff on service and how companies should be ran. And I spent so many hours listening to these podcasts, and it's funny because I'd be listening to my headphones, and they'd say something, I'd pause it, and I would completely stop working what I was doing and go run over and
Write it
write
down.
it down in my little black book. And the guy would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, "Oh, dude, he's telling me good stuff."
I'm
Like
learning here.
yeah, I got to write this down. And so yeah, that's really where a lot of it stemmed from, was just that, and just putting it together and actually going after it.
Let's like pause on this for a sec because it's a common theme on this pod and others where it's like people that read, listen to audiobooks or listen to pods, they soak up information, and it sounds simple just saying it, right? Even when I'm saying it, I'm like, yeah, just listen to what other people are doing
Yeah,
that
right.
worked, and then you do it. A lot of people don't do this though. So like, how did you build that muscle, or like, where did that come from? Have you always listened to books or read books or like?
So I've always read books. Actually, I remember being in the Navy reading like self-help books, and they're just like making fun of me, like, "Well, what are you reading those self-help books?"
Right.
It's like, "Oh, I just like it. I don't know why. It just it hypes me up. It gets me motivated. So I like the way it makes me feel." Kind
Like,
of
did your
thing.
parents ingrain that in you, or along the way were you just like, oh, let me just pick up this book and see if
Just
I
picked
can?
it up. Honestly, the first one that I ever read that got me was The Power of the Subconscious Mind. By
Ooh,
Yeah, I read that the first time, and after reading that one self-help book, it was just it was just downhill from there as far as reading went. So
awesome. I'm going to link to all these, by the way, for
okay,
everyone
yeah.
listening.
And I
Yeah.
think the author of that one is Joseph Murray.
Joseph Murray. Okay. Power of the Subconscious Mind.
That was probably the one that tipped me off for all of them. And now I have like just a bookcase of them.
And again, it's like I found the light over COVID because I've always been a terrible reader because I'd fall asleep. I would just like
Yeah.
lay in bed, reading a book, just pass out after like one page. And
Yep.
over COVID, I kind of discovered audiobooks, finally took the leap and got the subscription
Yeah.
on Audible.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. There's just information pumping into my brain that I can reuse and apply in my
Exactly. Yeah.
life. It gets addicting.
Yep, exactly. And at that like hardwood flooring job, I'd listen to Audible, podcasts, really all of that stuff. Any really business book I'd get my hands on, I was all about it. And then once I had met Joe, and knew that I was going to go into home inspection, I just spent all that time listening to home inspection podcasts, every single one, because everybody has a little bit of their self in each of their business, and just pull out the things that you like and don't like, see if it works. I think of myself pretty competitive, and I like to just try new things to see if they work, if they don't work, and just kind of go from there. It's fun.
If you think back, what were some of the just themes or gems where you were like, okay, I know I got to execute on this when you were new? So it's you listened to a bunch of pods, read books. What were some of your focuses out the gate?
I have to get in front of people. You can have a flashy website, which I do. You can have a cool name. You can have really anything.
Yeah.
But if you're not in front of people, telling them who you are, what you're about, then, they just don't know you. I think I listened to Grant Cardone, and he says, they don't know you, they can't flow you. So
he's great for motivation. Everyone has their opinions on him, but I'm
yeah,
like, in terms of run through a wall, 10x actions, like no one got me more excited than him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not for everybody, but I mean, if you're wanting to do that, like you said, that 10x type of stuff, he's the guy, and, taking that first step, I think as a home inspector, or just having the courage to just do it, is where you find the real you, is like, the real you exists. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I got a call on the screen, just went away.
Oh, you're good.
But no, I feel like that's really, that's really when it comes out, and you see what you're about. I know me going, I did my first open house and I was just nervous as could be. I didn't have really any goodies for them or nothing. I just had some business cards.
Showed up. So walk us through that. So was it, you woke up, you realized did you hear you need to do that? And then you decided like, okay, this weekend I'm going to hit up an open house.
Basically, yeah. I got on Instagram, so I'm big on Instagram.
Yep.
So I am, because that's where all the agents
I
are.
see you on there all the time. Yeah, I see you on there. Props to you.
The agents love Instagram. They like Facebook, but I really feel like Instagram's kind of like the cool thing right now. So it really wasn't even my plan to become this Instagram person. It just kind of fell in that way.
Yeah.
So
what was your thought process there? You saw the agents were there. Was it as simple as, I got to be where they're at?
Yeah, I basically message them all, say, hey, my name's Bryan, I'm with Home Trooper. Can I come and say hi to you at your open house? And they'll be like, yeah, and so that way they kind of know I'm coming, makes it less of a surprise, almost for me. But no, that first one, I was nervous. I walked in and actually it was 2 agents there. And the guy's like, oh, here's the creepy inspector. And I'm just like, oh my
what? Yeah. Oh my God. Just
so I was like, oh,
unnecessary. Man. Yeah. Unhelpful comment.
Long story short, that agent actually ended up becoming a good friend.
Really?
And he uses me all the time. We've actually commuted with each other to an inspection near Canada. So yeah, like I said, I didn't have anything with me, just some business cards and words.
So what was the conversation starter after you get hit with that immediate, like, oh my God, I'm getting I'm getting bullied here. Like, how do I start the conversation?
I'm a new inspector around. I'm just out here trying to, earn my stripes, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm just new. Basically, I wasn't really scared to tell people that I was new.
Okay, that's
because they can figure that out on their own. And it wasn't that, it didn't really bother me that much. I know some guys that I've sat down with are like, oh, I just don't want to tell people I'm new. And it's like, I think being vulnerable is important. They pick up on that, and they're just like, oh, wow, this guy's like out here trying to like get it, like he's, not behind a computer screen. He's actually, in the field trying to get business, and people respect that. They really do. And, both of those agents that were there, they use me almost every time. And this is like a year and 4 months later. So like it's just the power of actually getting in front of people.
Yeah. I love the V word, vulnerable. It comes up more and more. I think it's something our industry is maybe slower to adopt given some of the, demographics and some, it's older men a lot in our industry. And sometimes, I can say it, like, we're not all the best at being vulnerable all the time. It's something we have to kind of purposely do. Right. Mm-hmm. So what did you guys talk? Did you just chat him up and say, hey, how's it going today?
Yeah, basically just chatted him up. I know I looked nervous. I was just like probably shaking. I don't know. I just, but I'm big. I heard this quote, I think on a podcast, but it says success or fear or success is on the other side of fear. So like, that stuff just made me nervous, really getting in front of people. But like, I wanted it to work out so bad that I did not care. So I kind of came up with this new motto, man, let's just get awkward. Like, how awkward can we make this, and now it's not really awkward anymore. I almost feel like they're the awkward ones. When you're into an open house, you're ready with what you got to say, and they're the ones caught off guard. So if you look at it like that, it helped me anyway.
I love this. This is so good. This is going to be the title of the episode, is Let's Get Awkward, because it sounds like you embraced that and leaned into it.
Totally, man. Because like
taking yourself so serious.
Yeah, because I was very awkward at first. Like, I'm new. I didn't really model anybody. I didn't have like a go-to mentor or company to copy. So I kind of did my own thing and put, place things in place and just kind of seeing how people took to it and kind of went from there.
So you left your cards and was like, hopefully they call, or did you get their cards? How did the ending?
Yeah, so I left my cards. They gave me theirs, and I just kept on with Instagram, posting, but not just posting anything. I think it's important to post like good content, like we're inspectors, so there is so many things we can post on and give knowledge about, distances, just safety precautions, all kinds of stuff to, put out that's, better than just posting the picture of like the house you just inspected.
Yeah.
That to me is just useless posting. So I really don't post anything unless it has to do with like content or, trying to make it funny, putting a pun in there. A new big thing is these reels that people are doing now.
Yeah.
I've done a few of those. And that was very weird for me to do at first. Like I just getting in front of a video and acting all goofy and then posting it. It was very nerve wracking, but just doing it and seeing where it went it just went, and people took to it and they liked it. And, now it's a thing that I feel like I have to keep up on now.
Yeah. How did you bust through the awkwardness of video? Because that's like the next level. I want to get to your Instagram feed in a second, because I love what I'm seeing on it. And you got over 1,000 followers. You're doing great on there. So, but the video stuff's scary, right? Like reels, it's kind of like there's this pressure of like, I got to be a certain way. How did you step yourself through that?
Well, I mean, it's a little easier because it's not you just like talking, right? It's kind of like a voiceover type thing. But really just taking that first step and just doing it and hitting post. That's really all it takes. Yeah, you're gonna look dumb, you feel dumb. But other people watching it don't think that. It's just you, how you think. And you really got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And once people can do that, I think business and just everything, it just becomes a little bit easier, keeping it lighter. And like you said, embracing the awkwardness. It's important.
Yeah. Just got to take action. So it's home.troopers, your handle. I'm looking, you got this cute little graphic of yourself on there, the little emoji guy.
And that honestly, that was an accident too. I posted him once on like a content post, and somebody's like, oh, I really like that guy. So I just kept incorporating him, and now he's like the home trooper character,
I love that. How did you come up with that?
Bit emoji. So it's like actually me, but just in that character.
Like, how'd you hear about it?
It's an app in the app store. So I've seen bits and pieces of people doing that before, and I was like, oh, let me create a character. And really, I didn't know what it was going to be or anything. It's just one of those, just trying it out and seeing if it works, kind of thing. Yeah,
I love it. When I always do the eye test when I scroll someone's Instagram account to see if I believe they're doing it right, and it's like you got some house stuff, you got some, like holidays related stuff. You got reviews, you got funny, and then you got personal with your son there. Like amazing, great mix.
Yeah, man, and like that's to me is super important. I get a lot of business from Instagram. It's important to use because we can get out, we can reach so many people with just one little platform. Sure, getting in front of people is like the ultimate. Yes, we have to do that, but you can only see so many people in one day.
Exactly.
Whereas like Instagram, you put your reel out and they can almost learn about you before actually getting to meet you. So it's kind of like that, first icebreaker, really. I mean, and the icebreaker is you doing some goofy thing on a reel. So nothing's going to be, weirder than that.
Yeah. I want to double down on that of saying, if someone feels like they have a handle on who you are and can get to know you, they're much more likely to trust you with their
exactly
client.
Yeah, because right? I mean, if you look like a good person, you're clean cut, I have my uniform on always, that to me is important. I'm sure that's the military speaking out of me, but
yeah. But it's an amazing advantage in the business.
Yeah, it is super important to me just how I present myself, because not only am I presenting myself, I'm presenting the agent, because the agent's calling me for the home inspection, and now I'm representing this agent with the client. So I want them to look, fantastic in front of the client. So, I don't want to look like a slob or, be, grumpy or rude or just in the zone, whatever it is that, home inspectors do. Like I embrace the client being there. I embrace them walking around with me, talking. I actually like it. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. Love it. I want to circle back to this, but I like also knowing you did the first open house. Was that how you got your first couple inspections, or how did you get the first couple? Do you remember the source of them, or how you got rolling, or was it all just open houses?
Honestly, Instagram, the very first one, I sent out a bunch of messages, just basically, hey, my name's Bryan. I'm a, owner, inspector of Home Trooper. I'm looking to grow my network, kind of thing. If you ever need a service, we're here. And somebody called me on like the first day, and I was like, oh my God, somebody's scheduling
What?
online. I got that little text message, and I was like, this is cool, and yeah. And so it ended up being like 2 hours away, but whatever.
Doesn't
Uh,
matter.
I did it. Yeah. I'm the inspector that will go where you go. I'll do it.
Yeah, very cool. So
Yeah,
then how did
that-
it get rolling from there? You just continued the things that were working and then
basically, yeah. A lot of my business is fairly organic and just word of
mhm.
mouth. Agent uses me, they use me again, then they refer me to, their friends and that kind of stuff. Instagram has been huge. Open houses, though, we usually try to do those every weekend if I can. Obviously, I've been getting a lot busier lately, so I haven't really been able to go into open houses like I have been. But yeah, we kind of bring goodies now and stuff. More we've advanced since the business cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And do they seem to take to that where it's just like,
I don't know. It's weird. It's hit and miss. Sometimes you'll show up with like a baggie, and we'll have like a water, a kind bar. I think for the first of the year, we had these little cards that said, "Hope you have a lot of luck this year," with LOTTA, and gave them like a $1 scratcher with a kind bar.
mhm.
And some people are just like, oh, what is this? And they're just confused. But then others are like, oh my God, this is so cute.
Yeah.
And so that, just being memorable, just doing something to help them remember you and just being known, really. That's what it's about.
Love the scratch tickets idea. Like I love
Yeah,
the creativity, man. Like
that's
again,
totally my wife, man. She is the creative person behind all those ideas and the gifts and the giveaways and all of that. So
that's amazing. Great to leverage that. Is she in the business? Does she help? Or just kind of peripherally?
yeah, more so peripherally now. She kind of does like the operation stuff when I can't, but she's also a full-time dental hygienist.
Okay.
So, so yeah, she's at work 4 days a week. So she does what she can.
Beautiful. Which makes sense with the goodie bags because at the dentist, it's like you get the little goodie bag when when you
Yeah,
walk when you're done
yeah,
with your
exactly.
um cool. Let's talk kind of growth in the future and kind of, you mentioned IUB, how you kind of got into that and what it's kind of done for you.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, IAB found me. Like I said, I feel like I had the mindset down, the core values and everything, and I just kept seeing it pop up. IAB, and I was like, what is this like organization? And so I finally looked into it, and I messaged a home inspector at Home Inspections out of I think it's Bakersfield, Jamie.
Mhm.
And I was like, hey man, I see you're in this IEB. I go, is this something worth signing up to, or like what even is it? And he's like, hey, yeah, you should definitely join. And Unite is next month. I'll see you there. I was like, uh,
Okay.
okay. He goes, you should definitely make it out if you can. And I was like looking into it, and I was like, man, tickets are like $700 for non-members or whatever. He's like, well, no problem. I have an extra ticket for you. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so really all I had to do was get out there. And so long story short, I got out there and experienced Unite firsthand. And man, I was blown away. Shoot, it was so cool. I was sad when it was over.
Yeah. What blew you away about it? Give us some highlights.
Just being around everybody that's like-minded, like everybody there wants to grow a big company. And that was my mindset from the jump. Like I did not want to be the guy in a truck, which I am right now. But I definitely want a bigger company down the road. And talking to people like outside of IEB, around locally, when you talk to them about that kind of stuff, you almost come off as like an alien, you know it's really unrelatable. They don't have that, like, that type of mindset, so being around everybody like that, it was just so cool. And then hearing Dirk up there give his speeches, and Greg and all of them, it was cool. And I honestly felt like I was around a bunch of celebrities because I've been watching all of these people for over a year and hearing them on podcasts. And everybody was so nice and encouraging and supportive. It's just like, I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to be a part of that, like it's so nice. And now I have, like, all of these people in my corner. If I have questions or problems or just anything comes up, like people that actually want to see you win. So it's cool.
Power of community, right?
Yeah, it is a great community.
So what did you come away wanting to execute on from that conference? Was there any hot, one, two, three, I have to focus on this, or what goals?
Yeah, I think being more intentional. I think just starting out, I was trying to just do all these different things. Like I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm not doing this, just paying attention to bigger companies that are years ahead of me. That just I don't think it was serving me well. Trying to do 100 different things at once. So really, just being intentional and picking out that one thing. Like what are we doing, and let's just execute the crap out of that. And for me, it was just service. Like just be. I honestly I don't know where I heard this. It may have been your podcast, but somebody said they have an unmatched will to serve, and that's like
Mm,
that is my motto now. Like that is unmatched. I'm getting my truck wrapped and everything this month, and I'm putting that on there because it's just
that's a great tagline. That's a great tagline, man.
it's just that because in the long run, you're not in business to take care of you. You're in business to solve problems and really change people's lives, helping people. Rather even though it is only just a home inspection, you could be saving somebody's life potentially, or
Right.
saving them tons and tons of money. So it's it is a big deal, and I like to take it very seriously.
I love it because that speaks to a deeper purpose. Anything surface level can be replicated. It feels you lack, it's not going to push you through hard times when there's no purpose of like, what am I educating homeowners? Am I helping them on their journey, keeping in touch with them? Um, I love that. I love powerful taglines too. I'm a sucker for
Yeah. I
those.
mean, honestly, being an effective entrepreneur really just starts with service.
Yeah.
I think if you make that your top priority, you can just go from there and kind of branch off. But really, that just going above and beyond.
Yeah. So what are you seeing in the current market? What are you feeling, kind of hearing out there from agents? Everyone always kind of, with the recession on the horizon, and home sales, not crashing, but taking a dip back down to where they were prior to COVID.
Mhm.
What are you seeing out there?
Honestly, I don't know. I keep asking agents like, what is going on? Like this is weird. I don't know. Is it correcting itself? Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Personally, for me, business has been great. Honestly, last June, so we had Unite was in May. The following month, June, was my biggest month since I've been in
Wow.
business. And July is looking very close to that. Like we'll probably match it if not beat last month.
Wow. So
So
people
I
are still
don't.
buying.
Yeah, like it's a buyer's world right now, and inspections are being had. They're not
Yeah.
getting waived. So really, I don't know if it's correcting itself, if this is going to last or not, but it's going fast right now.
Maybe this is a sweet spot, maybe I think that's what some kind of theorize is that, okay, rates are higher, but yet prices, you don't have to pay 50 grand over ask anymore. So
Right.
maybe rates are not, I guess, as bad of a thing as they are made out to be. Because I think everyone looks at me, and yeah, it makes people's mortgages more.
Hmm. And
But
I know it varies from state to state because I know
right,
back home, my my mom and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, nobody's buying out here, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I'm like, not out here. Like it is just, I think people, nobody's moving to Kansas City, whereas Seattle, Washington, it's kind of like a cool place to live,
booming area.
environment and stuff like that. So we get a lot of people from California, a lot of people from like Colorado, Arizona. I've had clients from, so it just really just varies. I think
Yeah,
uh, where you're at.
looking at the regional numbers. Well, that's
Yeah,
good to hear. I love hearing that. Of course, we all want the industry to, fare the recession better than most other industries. Home buying's resilient though, man. Real estate
yeah,
is a resilient industry, and that's like what
yeah.
we've
It
seen.
definitely is. It's a fast one too. It's very fast paced.
So do you have some goals? What are you looking at in terms of growth? Kind of are you yeah, where's your head at in terms of where you want to go? Because I know a lot of IEPs about that, about creating kind of your future.
Yeah. So right now I'm still trying to figure things out. I feel still very new. I know I've been around like a year and so, but shoot, it's starting to really pick up now. So I'm like, getting grasps on like, being able to handle everything at once.
Hmm.
Uh, I did actually at the beginning start off using ACC
Hmm.
uh, as a call center. I no longer use them, not because there was a bad service or what. Nothing bad on them at all. I just at the beginning, I wanted to portray a bigger company than I was.
Right.
So if hey, I have a little call center or an office team, like, people will think I have people, that kind of thing,
Right.
which they did help. They were great. If I needed an invoice paid, they'd have them called and paid within 5 minutes. So they definitely did a good job. But I just didn't use them enough. People wanted to talk to me. So I would either already be on the phone with them, or I'd talk to them on Instagram. So after my first year, I was like, you know what? I don't think we really need to use them anymore.
Yeah.
Eventually I'll probably have somebody answering my phone. But right now it's not so bad. And now I'm using that money to be a part of IEB. So
Great. Amazing. Do you do any other services? Or are you thinking about ancillary services and kind of
yeah,
expanding?
so we're thinking about doing, well, not thinking, we are going to be doing mold and air testing here
Nice.
shortly. But we do sewer scope. And that's only one right now.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Good.
We do also do manufactured homes. So we do like the
Mhm.
HUD homes, license certificates of those. So
Okay, good. I like
yeah,
that. Love hearing that, because ancillary, for any new inspectors or first year inspectors, it's like I've heard that story over and over of
yeah, and
you
you know
lose
what?
business sometimes by not offering the full
That is
suite.
true. That is definitely true. That's like the main reason I got the sewer scope, because I have been on numerous inspections where they're like, man, I'm just really trying to find an inspector that does both. And they're like, the other guy I use, he doesn't have it either. And I'm just like, huh, and I've been asked over a dozen times for sewer scopes. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few questions I want to hit you with. They're kind of the rapid fire ones here.
Okay.
Unless there's anything interesting in the space or industry, or even from the conference that you want to touch on, yeah, what's interesting to you from your vantage point, kind of industry wide?
I think coming into it was very cold. There's not a lot of help as far as inspectors go.
Yeah.
They really don't want to help you. And I don't know if it's maybe because it's direct competition or what it is. I just knew that I wasn't going to be like that at all. I've actually even sat down and had coffee with new inspectors, being a new inspector myself, telling them what I'm doing, everything.
That's awesome.
And like, dude, we can do this. Like, I did it, you can do it. And I'm not even that old doing this. So
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, like it's just not that helpful out there. But fine, that's why signing up to IEB was so great. I actually had Sterling Home Inspections reach out to me, which is direct competition.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, do you want to come on a ride along with me? And I'm like,
Wow.
that's so awesome. Like that's how I want to be too, because there is so much business out there. It's not worth being that way. I really just want to see everybody win, and I don't know.
And that type of energy is contagious. I think it breeds good things in general when you are willing to help. And there's still, I think, a shortage of amazing professional home inspectors. And so you're right, there is enough to go around, especially when you think who's going to be retiring over the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Exactly. And, not everybody's like you, or your company. So if you just find what makes you different and how you bring value, and just kind of run with that. That's kind of what we did, just kind of the whole brandy thing. And yeah.
Where's the name come from? How'd you come up with the name?
Accident again. So initially I wanted to be called, I was going to be called Imperial Home Inspections. I just like the name of it. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I mean, I've seen Star Wars, but I'm not like, Star Wars. And I had a friend, he's like, Imperial, like the Imperial Army. And I was like, yeah, I guess, He's like, well, you should call yourself a home trooper then, since you're not those are stormtroopers. And I was like, oh, I go, dude, I kind of like the name of that.
Interesting.
I go, home trooper. And I kept saying it. And I was like, it kind of dials in with the whole like military thing that I'm doing here. So I was like, you know what? I like it.
I love that.
That's where it went. Yeah.
And you could have the option to create some Star Wars themed content if you ever wanted to play on that.
I did the May the 4th be with you. I did that, and I said, I was like a list of all the different stormtroopers, and I had a home trooper in there, which was just my face. So
I love that.
Yeah.
We got to shout that friend out. That good for him for coming up with the name.
For sure. It was awesome.
What's your favorite tool or toy that you've bought?
Tool. So I would have to say my gas detector. Honestly, I just got one yesterday. Got a gas leak yesterday. It was on a new build,
Mhm.
and I had inspected it a month ago, but they were still from out of town, so they weren't there.
Right.
And technically, I think I was there too soon because I got there and there was just blue tape everywhere. Like the builders were
Ugh.
still finishing up. So I inspected it, the best I could. And I was like, hey, I'll come back out free of charge when you guys get home and just kind of go over the things that I wasn't able to inspect because some things weren't even hooked up yet. So that's kind of a problem. So I went back out there yesterday. Literally in 10 minutes, I found a gas leak on the tankless hot water heater. So I would have to say that. And I've pulled that thing out numerous times, and the agent has been like, "I have never seen the home inspector do that." I'm
Huh.
like,
Really?
"That is crazy." You need
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
A
wow.
bit PSA on new construction. New constructions need inspections.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you getting a decent amount of new construction happening kind of up there?
My gosh, yes. So I have a buddy in a new construction area. Pretty much the whole entire neighborhood is new construction,
Mhm.
and they're all coming up on their 11-month warranties, where
Mhm.
they're needing a home inspection done to present to their builder or
Yep.
whatever. And I have gotten probably over a dozen in just that one neighborhood because I have like a little A-frame sign that I put out front. Usually when I'm in a home inspection, it says, high quality inspection right here
Mhm.
in progress. And I think people are driving by, seeing it. The homeowners are like posting on their little like Facebook community pages, and like I'm
Interesting.
getting, yeah, and all these people now are calling me like, "Oh, you just did a home inspection for my neighbor. Can you get one?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So it's been great. Yeah, the new builds, I've been getting a ton of those, and they're pretty straightforward. They're.
So the agents are actually recommending to the buyer that, hey, you need an independent home inspection. Is that how they're finding you?
Yeah,
Also,
yeah. So they'll reach out via their Facebook or just seeing other people in the neighborhood using me. And a lot of the time it's just the client. There's no agent because they're already
yeah,
living there. And
right.
it's just them wanting the home inspection for their own cause. But
I'd
um,
love to know some stats on how many new construction buyers get a third party home inspection
yeah,
because
so honestly, I started putting like little like picket signs next to like new construction like areas, like neighborhoods and stuff like that, because I was like, wow, these people they just need a home inspector. So and they just go off of who tells them who to call, really. So
where do you put the picket signs? Just like in the open field that they haven't built on yet, or do you?
yeah, or wherever there's like a crossing or a roundabout, a stop sign, I'll just put it there. And, that's kind of been my thing too. I've used signs. I've never seen a home inspector put out signs ever.
I
And I'm like,
love that. Like to
that's
me, that's
so weird to me. Like you
yeah,
see real estate, you see literally everything else, power washing, tree trimming, all of it. I've
yeah.
never seen a home inspector one. And I'm like, well, now there's going to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good nugget right there. I love that because yeah, painters, they put their little sign up when
Everybody.
they paint your
Yeah.
house.
I've
Everyone.
never seen a home inspection. And I really try to brand my logo because I don't want people calling Bryan. I want them to call Home Trooper. That's
Yeah,
like my whole thing. Because eventually I'm not going to be the guy.
right. It's
That's the
smart.
goal, really. So I really just put a lot into the logo and that's why I kind of made that bit emoji guy. So it kind of distanced me away from that logo a little bit, which right now I'm still that guy. So I
Right.
don't mind it, but just
Yeah.
kind of thinking for future down the road.
That's branding 101, right? Like
Yeah.
put effort into getting the brand in front of people instead of saying, hey, call Bryan. I'm Bryan.
Yeah, which that's like the home inspector go-to is just like, hey, I'm your guy. It's like, no,
We
call
are
us.
your people.
Yeah, we. Yep.
And that's I love the intentionality behind that because I think lots of people initially don't know how they don't even know how to present themselves. We, but if you're intentional about it, knowing
Just
that
do
the
it every
brand
time. We never ever say I. There's never an I. It's just we. Doesn't
love
matter
that.
if it's just you. It's we.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
So what's one thing you've learned that you should never do as a home inspector?
Oh, I would say really being rude. Like um, I don't know. I've just encountered so many home inspectors that are very abrupt and just how they portray themselves. They're very just stern when they're
Right.
speaking. And the best way to relate to people is just be a person. So you don't have to be like a hard ass or anything like that. You just come in and actually care. And I think, people can read right through you if you don't care.
Right.
And you won't get called anymore, and it's just being genuine and caring about what you're actually doing and all of that. So
Oh,
not being rude and just focusing on how your words are coming out, too many times I think inspectors put their foot in their mouth, like saying too much, so yeah.
amazing advice. What's another piece of advice you'd give a new inspector just starting out?
Get after it. Just stop making excuses and just do it. There are so many excuses to think, oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I don't have my hat ready. I don't have a, business card. I don't have my logo. I don't have reviews. There's so many.
Preparation, right? Preparation is
Yeah,
procrastination.
you don't need none of that. Just go do it. You don't need fancy tools. You don't need a sewer scope. You just need a business card, a name, and your license, and you could go do it.
You'll figure out the rest.
Yeah, just go figure it out. Build the ship at sea. It's that's really all it's about.
Awesome. And then what's your wish list item for us here at Spectora? What if you had your magic wand?
This might already exist, but I don't know if it does. An easier way to bill the agent. So like maybe like a button or something I could just press that says bill agent, not client. Because I've actually had an agent get pretty butthurt at me recently because she signed up as the agent and the client. And then she was getting double emails and was like, I don't want all these emails. Why are you doing this? And, and then I also do that with Secure 24 with ADT. So she got the phone call from ADT because I forgot to, check that from sending. And so she got the phone call. So she thought I was spamming her number and everything. And I was like, oh my God, no, it's because you signed up as the client.
You're being treated as a client. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and other than that, if it's just the client, I've just been like copy pasting, the link and just sending it to the client. But a lot of the time the agent doesn't even want the client to see the invoice. They just want to pay it before they see it. So I don't know if there was an easier way to do that or not.
Not an easy way. There is a manual process, I believe, to just disable an email or to edit the emails before they go out of the queue. But I like that one. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, so just maybe just like a button when you're scheduling to just send that invoice, not the agreement, but the invoice to just the agent rather than the client.
Awesome. Love it. Where can people find you, man? I know we kept you here for about 50 minutes. Where do you want to chat with people? New inspectors, I'm sure you always want to network when they listen to this.
Anywhere. You can hit me up. You can text me, call me, send me an email, Bryan@hometrooper.us. My Instagram is home.trooper. Same thing with Facebook. So you can find me on there. I'm usually always on Instagram and Facebook. So if you just send me a DM, I'll more than likely see it.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been great, man. I love hearing the journey and the success you're having. You're just getting started too. So
thank you for having me on, man. This is great. It feels so full circle, just I listening to this podcast and now I'm on it. So it's like, wow, this is cool.
Exactly. You're close to episode 100. I think we're up to like episode 96, 97. So you're cool. So you're up there, man. So I appreciate
you. New inspectors, I highly recommend you going to episode 1 and listening to every single one.
Thank you.
Really do that because you're going to get so many nuggets, just so many. And even the more like slow paced episodes, you get a ton out.
There's nuggets in there, man.
Yeah, tons. So yeah, definitely do that.
Awesome. Well, Bryan, this has been great, man. We'll definitely be keeping up with your success, and maybe we'll do a part 2 someday to just keep up after some months go by.
That'd be awesome, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, have a good rest of your week, brother, and enjoy yourself, man.
Okay, you too, man. Thank you.
All right.